Out on the silent edge of the night, when the world has finally grown quiet, and even your thoughts mutter in softer tones, you can hear it. A beating beneath the chest, a reluctant whisper rising from the depths of the soul. It's an ancient ache, a question hung heavy in the air. Why do men learn too late? Is it fate, or stubbornness, or merely the slow erosion of years that buries us beneath the rubble of our own unlearned lessons? It's the sigh of Marcus Aurelius alone in his tent, his empire vast, but his questions vaster still. It's the shadow of Lao Tzu retreating through mountain mist, having glimpsed the currents beneath the river and the stubbornness of those who fight it. It's the bittersweet counsel of Benjamin Franklin, the silent resolve of Epictetus with chains on his ankles, and the flame that raged behind Nietzsche's eyes when he wrote, "He who has a why can bear almost any how." Only men who have tasted gravity know what it means to fly, and too often it's only as our wings begin to crumble that the wind finally whispers the truth. But what if it didn't have to be this way? What if, tonight, the silent edge could be broken? If the truths that save us in the end could instead save us now? If you're listening, really listening, perhaps you can outrun regret itself. The first truth: you are not promised tomorrow, nor is any dream promised you at first. Every boy walks the world as if it belongs to him by default. Time is a friend, an endless expanse. Dreams are coins to be spent when the mood strikes. But beneath the surface, every sunrise is a vanishing coin in a shrinking purse. Seneca, the great Stoic, once warned that we suffer more in imagination than in reality, wasting days in anticipation, fear, or the vanity of tomorrow. Men learn too late that procrastination is not just wasting hours, it is rooting your life in illusory soil, trading the irreplaceable for the irrelevant. One day you'll stand before all the unfinished ambitions, the music unsung, the love unspoken, and realize time is the only true creditor, and he never forgets a debt. History is littered with men who waited for the perfect moment, inventing rituals of hesitation. When I am ready, when I am certain, when all is calm. Yet, as Aurelius reminds us, do not act as if you have 10,000 years to throw away. We spend our youth as if it were a rehearsal, and by the time the curtain rises, most of the cast has left the stage. The clock is always ticking, indifferent and tireless, and what is not begun today may never be finished. There is no path to greatness sidestepping the now. There is only the sharp edge of the present, beckoning you to step forward. Yes, even when you are afraid, even when you are unsure, even when the world says it is not your turn. Every vision, every hope, every transformational act lives and dies on this truth: you are not promised another breath. When you internalize this, truly let it percolate through your marrow, you stop trading your soul for lesser bargains. If you want meaning, you must make it with your own hands. Today, the second truth: the greatest prison is the one you build in your mind. We inherit invisible chains. They are the doubts spoken softly by well-meaning voices, the stories of failure handed down as cautionary tales, the scars left by histories you never wrote. Most men live within the walls of prisons more formidable than stone, a confinement of their own beliefs. Epictetus, born a slave, spoke not of the shackles on his body, but of those upon the mind. He taught that external events are beyond our power, only our own responses belong to us. We cannot always choose our circumstances, but we do choose how to interpret, endure, and transcend them. Each of us carries a secret litany. I am not clever enough. I am not wealthy enough. I was not raised in the right place, was not loved enough, was betrayed, was broken, was overlooked. These are not truths. These are stories. Some inherited, some chosen, none inevitable. Nietzsche demanded that we become who we are, not who we have passively been shaped to be. The moment you fold yourself neatly into the story that others have constructed, you surrender your destiny, your very self, at the altar of resignation. The tragedy comes not in our misfortunes, but in our quiet acceptance of a cage. A mind left to wander unattended will gather dust and rust, entangling you in hesitation. But a mind challenged, questioned, and illuminated, the mind of an honest man, cannot be held. Mental liberty is forged in self-examination, in the willingness to discard any belief, tradition, or expectation that has outlived its purpose. It is no man's duty to live up to another's prophecy of mediocrity. The only true freedom is the freedom to think anew, every day if need be, to cast off inherited despair and pick up the pen. If you would be liberated, you must become as ruthless with your doubts as you are with your ambitions. Demand evidence from every limit. Dismantle the old prisons, brick by suffocating brick. Build windows where once were only walls. The third truth: clarity is power and confusion is the silent killer. Men drift, not just across continents, but within themselves. They move from one shallow pleasure to the next, trying to fill the emptiness with noise, distraction, or accomplishment. But drifting has never delivered anyone to greatness. Lao Tzu taught that he who knows others is wise, he who knows himself is enlightened. Self-knowledge carves a path through wilderness. Without it, you wander endlessly, the same regrets, echoing year after year. Modern life conspires to keep us confused. The flicker of digital screens, the carnival of comparison, the avalanche of advice, so much noise, so little signal. We choke on the opinions of 10,000 strangers, each shouting about what you should want, do, or become. Clarity becomes a rare and precious thing, buried beneath layers of borrowed ambition. The wise see through this mirage. Ask yourself relentlessly, what do I truly desire? What am I willing to suffer for? Where am I lying to myself because the truth might hurt? These are not easy questions, but a man who refuses to look in the mirror will remain forever a stranger to himself. Clarity is not a ring to be found, but a sword to be forged, hammered out in the fires of self-doubt, cooled in the waters of curiosity. It requires cleansing your mind, ridding it of the debris of others' expectations until only what matters most is left glowing. Franklin kept a chart of virtues. But before he could cultivate virtue, he had to decide what virtue meant for him. Clarity creates leverage. A clear mind is a fortress. With it, every action resonates with purpose. Without it, all effort dissipates like smoke. Do not be seduced by tired definitions of success or enslaved by other people's approval. The man who rushes blindly after what others praise may find himself rich in applause, but bankrupt in soul. There is only one North Star for the life well lived, the answer that emerges in honest silence. What do you truly wish to become? And what are you willing to do to become it? This is the foundation beneath all achievement, all fulfillment. Seek clarity, like a drowning man seeks air. The fourth truth: vision alone is a mirage. Action is alchemy. So many men stand before the altar of ambition, holding candles against the night, reciting dreams until their throats run dry. But prayers, without effort, are the comfort of the idle. Benjamin Franklin famously declared, "Well done is better than well said." The daydreamer drifts in circles. The man of action builds bridges. Vision is the spark, but action is the flame. Discipline is the river that carves stone. The world yields itself not to intentions, but to work, persistence, and the slow erosion of resistance. Every empire, every work of art, every legacy was constructed stone by stubborn stone, often in solitude, often in darkness, long before the world took notice. Men procrastinate for fear of stumbling at the first step, for dread of inadequacy, for resignation to comfort. But there is no magic moment, no guarantee of success. You must walk the road despite your doubts, swallow the bitterness of uncertainty, and trade inertia for progress, even when it means sweating alone at dawn, making sacrifices no one applauds, refusing to compromise when no one is watching. Nietzsche implored us to become who we are, but becoming is not a passive bloom. It is an act of will, courage, and commitment, an unending process of movement. In your quiet hours, measure your vision not by its grandeur, but by the number of actions you take to serve it. Discipline is a kindness to your future self, a daily tribute to the life you want most. It is the truest form of self-respect, forging order from chaos, structure from dreams. A man who acts, who turns vision into effort and effort into outcome, wrests power back from his circumstances. And though failure may greet him along the way, even failure lived fully is nobler than success imagined but untested. The fifth truth: gentleness and strength are twins, not enemies. Somewhere along the way, we are taught to choose between steel and silk, to be hard or soft, armored or exposed. It is a lie. The world has always required both. Marcus Aurelius commanded armies but counseled kindness. Lao Tzu saw the greatest strength in yielding. Water cuts rock not by force but by persistence, and the oak that refuses to bend is snapped by the storm. Men learn too late that vulnerability is not surrender, but the first movement of genuine connection. In seeking invulnerability, you risk building walls so thick that not even light can enter. Men who fear pain, intimacy, and tenderness often end up strangers to themselves and those they love. The bravado of invincibility earns applause from afar, but breeds loneliness in the night. Strength is not the suppression of feeling, but the mastery of it. Gentleness is not the absence of boundaries, but the presence of wisdom. The man who feels without being ruled by feeling, who speaks truth with compassion, becomes both shelter and fire for those he loves. Gratitude, humility, forgiveness. These are not the tools of the weak, but the hallmarks of power refined by hardship. Only those familiar with suffering can show true mercy. Only those confronted with chaos can offer calm. Life will batter your defenses. It will force you to admit no man can control all fates, win every battle, shield every loved one from harm or regret. True courage is not never breaking, but putting yourself back together again and again, undiminished in spirit. A strong man is he who can lift others, not by standing above, but by standing beside. The world does not need more warriors with shields, but more architects of hope. Men capable of gentleness without losing edge, of love without losing self. To live awake is the only noble aim. As midnight draws near, the greatest danger is not in our enemies or our failures, but in the slow, silent surrender to sleepwalking through our only life. Men learn too late because they wait for pain to shake them awake, for heartbreak to teach them what love could have whispered, for ruin to force the question of what really mattered. Awakening is a choice, not a crisis. Sit tonight with these truths. Measure your days by their presence, not their number. Meet yourself in the mirror, unguarded and honest, and ask what you are still waiting for. The world cannot grant more time. Destiny bows only to those who do not bow to delay. Rise in the morning as if you have already been given too many gifts, and resolve to waste none of them. Wage war upon your limitations, but not upon yourself. Pursue clarity with the hunger of a man chasing the last light, and never trade your gentleness for hardness, nor your resolve for comfort. It is not too late. As long as you still breathe, as long as you can still wonder, the door remains open. Internalize the truths that set men free, and let regret pass. You buy as a stranger on the road, for you journey with your eyes open, and the world awaits the man who refuses to sleep through the miracle of his own existence. Walk bravely. Live wide awake. Your only life is now.